bit of a different setup today rather than the pink background. And the main reason was because I wanted to show off my new wallpaper. Let me know if you prefer this background or if you like the pink one. I'd like to know in the comments. So anyway, hey everybody, I'm back. My name's Belle. I'm a skin clinic owner and skincare professional based here in the UK. And I'm back to my YouTube videos. And today's video is going to be all about the Obagi RX versus FX system. Because if you're not familiar with the Obagi systems and you're looking into them, there is quite a lot. So I think it's really important to simplify it to help you if you're making a decision to want to go down the Obagi route. So I hope this video provides you with some education and some informative information. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. This channel is dedicated to all things skincare and a main push really on Obagi Medical, because I am in a fortunate position to be an Obagi Medical ambassador. So I work really closely with the brands. I have the brands in my clinic in the West Midlands, but apart from that, I am going to be bringing you some other skincare content too. Anyway, let's get into the video. Firstly, I really need to make it very clear that I am by no means recommending the system to you watching. The Obagi Medical systems are prescription strength only, and this video is purely from an educational standpoint. If you hear my cat snoring in this video, he's over there having a snooze, so try to ignore that. Okay, so the Obagi Nu Derm Rx and the Obagi Nu Derm Fx, I would say, are probably one of the most well-known systems in the Obagi range. They both effectively help to treat hyperpigmentation, melasma, aging concerns, but sometimes it's very hard to know what the difference is between the two. So I'm going to just break it down in terms of the different products that you get within the system. So let's talk about the Obagi Nu Derm Rx system first. So the Obagi Nu Derm Rx system contains your standard 7 items. These being your cleanser, your toner, your clear, exfoderm, blender, hydrate and SPF. However, with any Obagi Nu Derm system, whether it be the RX or the FX, you also need to add in most cases, the tretinoin, Professional C serum and the Obagi Elastoderm eye cream. And the Obagi RX system hosts a 4% content of hydroquinone, and that's present within the clear and the blender. And this 4% hydroquinone content is what classifies the system to be prescription strength. So I hope at this point that's making some sense. Now, with the Obagi Nu Derm Fx system, all of the 7 products are exactly the same. The only difference is, rather than it being a 4% hydroquinone content that's present in the clear and the blender, it's a 7% Arbutin content that's present in the clear and the blender instead. And by not having the 4% hydroquinone content in the clear and the blender and having the 7% Arbutin content instead, makes the Obagi Nu Derm Fx system classified as non-prescription. Now, this is where it can get a little bit complicated, so I'm going to really try and simplify it for you. So even though the Obagi Nu Derm Fx system is classified as non-prescription because it has the 7% Arbutin content in it instead of the 4% hydroquinone, which is of course a prescription item, you can make the Obagi Nu Derm Fx system a prescription system when you add in a tretinoin. And to be honest, in my experience when working with clients along these systems, I've never really taken a client on a journey with either of the Obagi Nu Derm systems without a tretinoin. So both of the systems, in my opinion, are classified as prescription because I always introduce a tretinoin to be used alongside of the system and incorporated within the system. However, the Obagi Nu Derm Fx is classified as non-prescription and the RX is classified as prescription. So I hope that's making sense so far. If you've got any questions at the moment, just pop them in the comments section below. I will always get back to you. So you might be thinking at the moment, why should I consider the Obagi Rx instead of considering the Obagi Fx, or why should I consider the Obagi Fx instead of considering the Obagi Rx? First of all, let me say that that decision would never be in your hands. It would always be in an accredited Obagi practitioner's hands, because of course these systems are not available for you to purchase online without a fully fledged either online consultation or in-clinic consultation. But the answer to that question really has to be answered in an educational perspective rather than a recommendation perspective. So I'll just give you the facts as to what's actually different between the two systems. So as I mentioned, the main difference between the RX and the FX system is the blender and the clear containing different active ingredients. So your RX system contains your 4% hydroquinone in your clear and your blender, and your FX system contains your 7% arbutin in your clear and your blender. So really the difference is that, and the difference between hydroquinone and arbutin is hydroquinone actively destroys the cells that produce pigment. So if you think about it that way, that's going to be a much stronger active ingredient to use, and probably better in a lot of cases if you do suffer with stronger hyperpigmentation concerns. And what arbutin does is it inhibits the enzyme production of the pigment cell that produces the melanocytes. So compared to the two, arbutin is more of a derivative of hydroquinone, but of course they both have their individual qualities that work for them. And if I'm being totally honest with you, being in the Obagi network myself and obviously liaising with different professionals on a daily basis, following each other's work on Instagram and socials and things like that, and having access to the Obagi portfolio, I do see good results with the Obagi Nu Derm Fx system as well as the Obagi Nu Derm Rx system. So there's not one set rule for everyone, because it all just does depend on that individual client. The main thing I'd say, which is what sets the systems apart in terms of how aggressive you can actually treat your patient with them, is the active strength of tretinoin. So that's what's going to cause irritation to the skin. So if you're sitting there thinking, well, why wouldn't I go on the Obagi Rx system if it's better because it's got the 4% hydroquinone content? And if I'm honest, I always do try to push my clients to go on the Obagi Rx system, because I just know that hydroquinone is going to treat their melasma or their hyperpigmentation better than arbutin because it's a stronger active ingredient. However, the way that I tailor my systems to my clients that I actively treat is by tweaking the tretinoin strength and also the protocol that they follow. So even though there's differences between the RX and the FX, which is obviously what we've just covered in terms of the active ingredients, the way that you really actually tailor the system to the client is by the active strength of tretinoin and the protocol that you ask them to follow. Another way that I actually tweak the system as well to the individual client that I'm treating is by choosing the correct Exfoderm product. So if the client is undergoing a normal to dry system, the Exfoderm is incorporated within that system, which contains phytic acid. Now, if a patient is undergoing the normal to oily system, the Exfoderm Forte is included in that system, which contains lactic acid and glycolic acid. So even though that system obviously has to be purchased as a single system, there's no reason why I couldn't possibly tweak that product along the way when obviously it comes to the replenishment stage. However, I am only able to do that from the experience that I have had with Obagi and with obviously working successfully with the system over the years that I have. And like I've said before, that decision would never be in your hands because these products aren't available to be purchased online because you have to be working with an active practitioner when you're on the system. And when it comes to the tretinoin, there's 3 different strengths of tretinoin. You've got your 0.025%, your 0.05% and your 0.1%. And depending on the skin that you're showcasing to your practitioner and the concerns that you have and the severity of those concerns and how quickly you want to see results, X, Y, Z, is the protocol and the percentage that they would put you on. So that is always individual to the person. But what I will say is the tretinoin and the Exfoderm are the irritants of the system. So that's what's going to make you actively shed. So if you don't want that shedding and if you want it to happen at a slower rate, these are the conversations that you will have with your practitioner, and then you will obviously agree together and work together to formulate an appropriate system that's suitable exactly to you, the speed that you want to achieve your results, your lifestyle, your skin health, and then together you'll be able to achieve really specific goals that you really do want to work on and make the system as personalised as you can. Some people think skincare is just a walk in the park. You know, grab some micellar water, grab a makeup wipe and you're good to go. There is so much to skincare, and I think hopefully by watching this video today, it just showcases you firstly what is actually involved in these systems, and secondly how it's so important to work with someone when you're actually actively treating your skin, because if you are left on your own without the support from a professional, from an accredited practitioner, you literally are running blind sometimes. You won't achieve the results that you want. You might come into bumps along the road and not know how to deal with them effectively, and you just won't get the best value for your money that you're paying for, whether that not be the Obagi Nu-Derm system, whether you're on your own system that you've purchased from wherever. You might be thinking, oh, these products aren't working for me. If you actually work with a professional, you can ask them these questions. You can say to them, my cleanser's making my skin dry out. What can I do? They can give you an answer rather than buying something online that you've just read a small bio about and thinking, this cleanser's not working for me, I'm going to stop. Because sometimes actually stopping a new routine that you've started can actually be a bad thing for your skin. So where you can, get the support that you need. You and your skin deserve it. So I hope that video has been really informative for you. I hope it's helped to educate you about the Obagi Nu-Derm systems. And once again, I must say that this video is by no means an advertisement or a recommendation from me to you directly. These systems are not available to purchase online. They need to be spoken about with an accredited practitioner prior, within an advanced skincare consultation. So just making that super clear again, this is not an advertisement for these systems. If you've got skin worries, skin concerns, if you're absolutely bored stiff of your routine and you want to activate your routine a little bit more by incorporating some more products, some more steps, or if you just want a little bit of guidance, then come and see me for an online skincare consultation. I offer these on Zoom every single week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings. I'll pop the link below in the description box. It's a 45-minute consultation. It's not what you think it is as well. It's really quite in-depth. We go into a lot of detail, and I can really recommend whether it's just one step for you, whether it's just some guidance, or whether it's a brand new formulated skincare routine to really help you achieve the goals that you want. I can work with you to help you achieve those goals. And then with any new client that I do take on, there is always an open line of communication afterwards. So I'll give you my email address, we'll communicate on a weekly basis, so you'll always get that support from me moving forward. If you liked this video, then please tell me that you liked this video by hitting the thumbs up button below. It really does help the channel to grow, and I'd love my content to be to a wider audience to help more and more of you. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon.